Tst Japan is a Japanese adventure of Tst Spain. Tst Spain was founded 15 years ago and is a company dedicated to connected devices, basically all kind of sensors to automate processes, to control, monitor different processes. So back in 2017, we started working in Japan with slowly introducing technology, and at some point in 2020 we saw that was a good timing to actually set up a subsidiary in Japan, but mainly because in order to do business in Japan it's important to be in Japan. That's very important, and we thought there was a nice opportunity to bring all that experience we have in Europe about IoT and the way we do this kind of business in Europe, how IoT meaning Internet of Things, is helping businesses in Europe. We thought it's a good opportunity to bring that to Japan. Then Tst Spain, together with our Japanese market partner that is Furuta-san, we established Tst Japan, and we thought the best first products were going to be based around the technology of detecting the distance of the device to a surface, and this is our TST sensor for this that detects the distance. For instance, in tanks, we use this to detect the filling level of tanks, and this is an ultrasound sensor, very robust and reliable, and also used to detect the level of water, for instance. And we are promoting this technology, this new device, in Japanese market now. So, but there are other technologies we are also working on, like trackers that use to provide the GNSS, so satellite positioning to different moving devices or goods. So that's what we are doing now. Well, I think Japan brings opportunities and challenges both. So on one hand, I think once you get in touch with the Japanese market, you realize is relatively closed market. So you really need to work in Japan from inside. That this is important. It's a very demanding market in terms of quality, and the expectation of the customer is always very high. It's very demanding customer, so that puts providers to the test of whether they're up to the level of satisfying a Japanese customer. That's hard. In Europe, we have very different ways of doing things, with advantages and disadvantages. So, but at the same time, Japanese market is, I would say, very loyal. Once you provide the right service and the right product, the Japanese market is loyal to a good provider. So, and that's also very good because it provides you stability. And obviously, it's a country with very high standards of legal security. So that's very important also for when you are running business long way ago from home. It's important to know that your business, your assets, your money is safe in a strong legal system, that you are not subject to some arbitrary decisions that will happen in other countries. So from that point of view, Japan is very nice place to run business. But we identified from day one that having strong local roots and local partners was key to succeed. Well, my partner Furuta-san supported Osaka, and to be honest, I didn't know when it came first and when we started discussing about location. But I have been to Tokyo and I have been to Osaka, and I have to say that even though Osaka is compared with European cities, it's a very, very big city. If you compare it to Tokyo, Tokyo for me is madness. Osaka is a much more human scale city, and it's easier. I think when a city is too big, it really drains too much energy just to move from one place to another and to find location, to pay for an office space, and all those things that are, you haven't started even business, but being in a place like Tokyo, it really deters a lot of energy, a lot of resources from day-to-day life. And Osaka is a much better scale city than Tokyo. So, and our location is good. I think it's good to somewhere very, very well positioned between east and west, and from that point of view it's good. And Kansai Airport has almost the same connections as Tokyo airports. It's faster in terms of getting in and out, and so I think it's many advantages. And also I think close by, relatively close, we have a number of headquarters, at least the technical headquarters of technology companies that for us are very important, probably more important than the corporate headquarters. So altogether makes Osaka a very nice location. So for us, COVID has had a big impact because we started the project of Tst Japan right before COVID. My last visit was in February 2020. That means we just had started to know about a virus in China. And well, people in Japan were used to use masks in public transport and so already. But for the first time I came here using a face mask because we didn't know in Europe what was going to happen, and see where we are today. So now you cannot, now all Europe is plenty of people with face masks that we have never seen before. So for us has been 2 years, for Tst Japan, 2 years without traveling between Spain and Japan, and that was key part of our business plan, was a continuous sharing of knowledge and people, and connecting Spain and Osaka. We couldn't do that, so that has meant a big slowdown for our development plans, but that's it. We have managed to, with Teams, Skype, and we have done our best, and we hope we are recovering now communication and traveling, and we'll start actually doing or executing the plans we had. I would say something positive indeed is that we have realized that we can do online more things than what we used to do, and that is good, as long as we don't forget that face-to-face meetings and person-to-person communication is unbeatable. So we have to keep that, but certainly we have learned to use online resources much better. What I can say is that when I compare with my time in Tokyo, is that level of stress you see in the people moving around in Tokyo is much higher than in Osaka. So I have to assume that family life and personal life in Osaka is more enjoyable than in a busier city like in Tokyo. So other than that, is I think it's a nice city with all amenities and parks and so on around. So being so close to nice areas like Kobe, Kyoto, Nara makes it very nice. Oh yeah, this is very different. Here, I would say relationships are more strict, and in Europe used to be more casual. And as everything has good and bad consequences, and I think it is harder to start a business relationship in Japan, but business relationships are more solid. So harder investment, harder starting up, and then you have more stability on those relationships. It's a huge barrier. It's very difficult to find, even in technology, to find engineers that are fluent in English and they are confident in English. So yes, that's a big barrier. In Europe, even though we are not English speaking, we are used to use English as a second language, so that we all manage, and we are used to communicating English for all technical matters. And in Japan, that's a big barrier. English is not a common second language, and that creates a barrier. And well, I manage with either translators, or obviously I have my partner Kensa Furuta-san that obviously takes over the Japanese communication. Obviously that's good. He's a Japanese face in the company. That's important. But yes, lack of English as second language as a common resource is a barrier for foreigners doing business in Japan. I will just say to you, it's sugoi, because I learned that watching anime. Oh yeah. We actually were very welcome from day one, even when we were just Furuta-san and me walking around in Osaka, talking about establishing a new company. From Osaka administration, we got very strong support, and they help us with everything they could actually. So from paperwork to finding suitable location. Now we are using the deck as our register address, and actually that was also through the intermediation of Osaka. So certainly we have been helpful, and the staff has been extremely helpful. They have a English-speaking staff that actually interact with me in a fluent way. That helps a lot, as you mentioned before, the language barrier. So as being all support, and actually it's just as I said, location, paperwork. Also there is some financial help. The contacts, business contacts, and so certainly it's a lot of help. They are very proactive. If you think about, there are two questions: is whether you want to do business in Japan, and then when in Japan. So if you want to do business in Japan, make sure you have the right partners inside Japan. That's very important for the success of your venture. And then consider Osaka, because for TST, Osaka has been very welcoming and a very nice business environment to develop our ideas, and with a lot of creativity, universities, the right support from the authorities. So I think it's a good place to come.